welcome back to the channel, folks. Sorry it's been a while since the last video, and I suspected that was going to be the case because flattening and filling and sanding and filling and sanding and repeat and keep on going, it's taken me forever. And in amongst all of that mix, my youngest daughter Chelsea got married, so congratulations, sweetheart. Lovely day we all had, and we'll welcome Connor to the family. So welcome, lad. Welcome to the madhouse. Today I'm not going to do much work-wise. It's just going to take you through what I'm going to do next and explain. I made little sanding blocks. Where are they gone? Couple of little shaped sanding blocks. Just stick sandpaper to. So a very quick video, very loosely show how I made those. It's something I saw on Sylvester Customs, I think his YouTube channel is. He's a professional body shop guy, and he shows how to make very specific shape sanding blocks for doing specific shapes. So I robbed the idea off him. So it's not my idea, it's his idea, so all credit to him. And they work a treat, to be fair. So we're going to go around the car, mark off a few bits that need further attention, and explain what my next steps are. Okay, so the first thing, which is nice, this is the first time in many years this car has been one single colour on the outside, so it's just obviously primer grey now, but we get a feel for what she's going to look like, so this is good. So you've seen the work I did on this side with the filling and primering. So I've done that over the entire car now. So that side's nice and crisp now. And the roof is done. Surprising amount of filling needed in the roof as it happens, and lots of little tiny waves all over it. So the arches are all blended in now. Still needs slight refining, but it's close enough now for primer filler refining. If I put some light on there, back panel all in as well, and that which also needed a surprising amount of filler, even though it was a new panel, just to get it straight. So again, when I talk about filler, I don't mean huge thick lumps of it, I just mean slight skims. So my next plan is to give the whole car a very light sanding over with perhaps 600 grit or even 800 grit perhaps, just to knock all the pip nibs out of it and give it a key for the next coats, and then give the whole thing as many coats of high build primer as this 4 litre tub will let me. So I've used about that much so far on it, so my intention is once it's ready to go, I'm going to mix all of that up in one go and just keep painting until it runs out. And then once that's done, I can then start coming back to things like the body lines, taping them up, but this time no filler involved, just taping up and sanding and tidying up ready for the final coat. So that's where we're at. Also made along the way a couple of homemade sanding blocks. So I'll put this is going to seem a little bit disjointed because I didn't video it particularly well, but I'll include the video next of how I made this one, which was to help, you can see the shape of it there, that's to help get that shape correct along there. And then this one, which I used oops to get that shape along there, just to refine it, because I was struggling to get that by hand. So by making these sanding blocks, you just stick sandpaper on them using double-sided sticky tape, and they worked really well. Okay, so I've sort of made a start on this and thought maybe I should film this. So I've stolen this idea off the internet. It's not my idea, I've seen others doing it. What I'm trying to do is make a sanding block to replicate the swage line there. So I've made a plasticine barrier, used some packing tape to make a release, if you like. I've used some fiberglass infused filler, a P40 I think it is, yeah, I spun P40 to make a base for it, so it should have a bit of strength to it. Then my intention when that sets off is to fill that with filler, so we'll have a nice solid block end to work with. Right, that's the next bit done. So I've just chucked some filler in there, and some little bits of wire I had kicking about, left over from, actually it's my bit of trellis from the outside that fell apart in the wind. So just chucked bits of wire in as well to give it a bit of strength, so hopefully that's going to work. We'll give it a bit now and see what happens. Well, that's worked quite well. That's the block that's come off. So nice and strong, plenty of rigidity to it, and it's a perfect match then for our car, of course. So we can use that now to check my body lines, hopefully. Right, so that's the roof panel all looking nice. What I might do in this episode and take you along on the journey actually is just, I'm going to grab a pencil and go around marking all the little areas which are clearly obvious need attention. Okay, so going very carefully over the entire car, we're going to focus in, hopefully. Try some light on it to help. Oh, this is terrible. Doesn't really show up on camera, but there's a little area there that needs, these are just minor attentions. These are along the front of the bonnet, looks okay. We need to get some seam sealer into these gaps down here and all around as well before we go too far ahead. I remember we got an area here somewhere which I wasn't happy with, so we just put a squiggle around there. We can come back to that. This obvious area here, which I've been fiddling with and haven't finished off yet, and annoyingly which isn't showing up on camera but only showed up when I put the paint on. This is the annoying thing about painting. You think you got it right, and then you put some paint on it, and all of a sudden you find more glitches, and then you've got to remember where the glitches are after the paint is dried. So let's keep searching. There's an area there that needs attention. There's one there. Be sure there's something around here as well. Put a mark around this. I seem to remember there being an issue there somewhere. Need to seam seal this. And here, well, there's an area there that needs sorting out. Oh, straight you up. Trying to do this and hold the camera and see, look at what I'm doing at the same time. Put a seam sealer into there. I know there's an area here that needs a little bit more attention on the bubble. And I think there was an area here that felt a bit weird as well. So we'll go with that needs looking at. And of course you want a seam sealer in there. I think that's all my small problem areas, which isn't too bad. So there we go. So the next video will be addressing those areas and then giving the whole thing total sanding down, just a, I guess, 600 grit probably, or wet sand perhaps, see how I feel about that. Obviously then give the car a real good dry using my heat gun, and then just pile on the high build primer. And then once the high build primer is set off, we will then give the final detailing of the car, and then we're heading towards final paint. So pointing in the right directions. It has been a graft. I can see why body shops will charge upwards of £10,000 for a really high-end paint job, and even a couple of £1,000 just for a quick blow over. It is nothing quick about painting a car. It all takes forever, and it's all about this stage, all about prep. Actually getting the paint on will probably be when we come to do that, I'll probably film that in live time, if you like. So there won't be no speeding up or anything, because that'll just be a case of just chucking it on. But see how we're getting on. Like I said before, I'm trying to do the best I can. It won't be a top-end professional job, because I am not a top-end professional. I'm just a guy bodging around in his garage. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for being patient. I hope this little update was enough to keep you guys updated as to what's going on. I know you'll be itching to know what's happening. So thanks for sticking with it. Please subscribe, please like, and please share, and please let us know what you think and how you think things are coming along.